Thomas.
Our next fight, out of the blue corner, Anthony Lee.
And we've seen 3 fights tonight in the amateur division, and we are going to take a look at the amateur rules tonight, brought to you by Pepsi. It is better with Pepsi. Obviously, there are a different set of rules between the amateurs and the pros, as we're about a little over halfway through the amateur side of the fight. Cam, why don't you take us through the rules of the amateur fights?
During amateur fights, the duration is 3 3-minute rounds. There's 3 judges that score the fights. They do have some restrictions the pros don't, including no elbow strikes and no knee strikes to the head. The point scoring is based on effective striking, grappling, aggression, and control time.
And Shino, I'm sorry I keep calling you Shino. I'm going to get it right at some point tonight. Shino, with the restrictions, the no elbow strikes, the no knee strikes to the head, how hard is that to remember once the adrenaline is flowing?
I think for amateurs, it's not that hard to remember. They shouldn't be training with them anyway, so it's probably just something that they don't even include in their toolbox during training. Now, on the other end, remembering that you have those as a pro, that's the...
Because sometimes you get comfortable with your training as an amateur, then you can get to the elbow strikes and knee strikes to the head. Anthony Lee from the Pit Fight Team right here in Boise, Idaho, enters the cage tonight. He has got a pretty raucous crowd with him tonight.
His opponent, fighting out of the red corner, please welcome Sam Dyman.
Very interesting reaction as Mike Thomas introduces Sam Dyman. You heard cheers, and then from Lee's crowd, you heard some boos. This, you can kind of tell from the crowd, this should be a good one.
It's definitely a battle of the local MMA gyms here. The Pit, notorious for their Hawaiian Kempo and Jiu-Jitsu. SBG, obviously legendary here at Front Street Fights.
Yeah, crazy that you hear some boos, huh?
Yeah, it's especially, not taking away from any of the amateurs tonight, but a lot of the times once we get up to the pro portion of the card, you get a lot more enthusiasm for the crowd. But it's fun to hear, and probably something good and exciting to get that adrenaline up for both these fighters.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? Cheers or boos, enjoy it, embrace it. Let them boo.
And again, Cameron, you kind of touched on it. We've got the Pit Fight Team, legendary here in Boise, and SBG Idaho, legendary here in Boise. Is there a little something more that you put behind it when you know you're going up against a kind of crosstown gym, kind of a rival, so to speak?
You do, definitely. I mean, it's kind of like, high school wrestling. You have your rivals, you have your locals. You may not even know the person, but just knowing that from the other gym kind of makes them a little bit more focused than an out-of-towner.
Sam Dyman stepping in the cage. Mixed reaction from the crowd tonight. If you can see it in his corner, the one, the only, the legendary, original, I believe, bantamweight champion of Front Street Fights, Jesse Brock. And inside the cage, you see our cage girls. Our ring girls tonight are presented by Twin Peaks. Twin Peaks eats, drinks, and scenic views. We, of course, are live on KTVB Plus and the Front Street Fights YouTube channel. To get the third amateur fight rolling, we are going to send it back into the cage with cage announcer Mike Thomas.
This fight is brought to you by St. Luke's Sport Medicine and is scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds in the Front Street Fights Amateur Welterweight Division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, making his MMA debut, standing at 6 feet, 2 inches tall, weighing in at 169 pounds, fighting out of Boise, Idaho, representing the Pit Fight Team. Please welcome Anthony "PNUT" Lee. Fighting out of the red corner with a record of 1 win and 0 defeats, standing at 6 feet, 1 inches tall, weighing in at 168.5 pounds, fighting out of Boise, Idaho, representing SBG Idaho, please welcome Sam Diamond. Your referee for this fight is Mr. Mike Mickelson.
Well, you heard it in the crowd reactions as both fighters were introduced. Half were cheers, half were boos. As both fighters were introduced, Mike Mickelson giving them their final instructions. Right now, both gentlemen in black trunks. Out of the blue corner, it's Lee from the Pit Fight team. Out of the red corner, it's Dietman from SBG. Which team gets this victory? We are about to find out. Lee comes rushing in and is met with a swift kick. Both gentlemen just trading right and left. Fast and furious. This one could be over quick. Right, left, down, goes.
Watch him over the head.
Lee. Dietman not relenting on the pressure. Connecting with more rights, more lefts. An uppercut, straight right. Another right. My goodness, a fast 25 seconds of action to start this fight.
To be honest, I think that Dietman should stay striking. I don't think he should have went in for a takedown. It gives Lee time to relax and time to recover. I think he should just pick and poke at him.
Especially right here. He's got him against the cage. He can't go backwards, and he's going to have a tough time circling. Get in your distance, stay where you want to be, and let those hips drive those hands the same way you were.
Both men back to neutral stance, a right and a left coming there from Lee. Trying to answer some of those early strikes of Dietman. Dietman going for the uppercut, going for the takedown. Presses Lee up against the cage one more time to slow the action down just a little bit. Both men in this first 90 seconds expelling a lot of energy, and you can see both breathing pretty heavily right now.
Yep, for Lee, it's really recovery. It's figuring out, it's getting his head right, it's getting his composure down. It's getting back to where he wants to be, especially in this debut. For Dietman, it's figuring out where he wants to go next to continue on his original success.
I just think that Dietman should have kept striking. I think he should release and strike. He needs to stay focused, stay sharp, stay long. He's hitting him.
Lee coming with a kick, a right and a left. Dietman knocks Lee down again. Both men back up, both against the cage again. Dietman with the first takedown tonight gets Lee down to the ground, looking for back position, working him up against the cage again.
Lee's doing a beautiful job getting back up. He's got one underhook, and he needs to really get that in there. Yes, exactly, and pull that up. And then turn if he can. He's got that right side open. If he can just turn to that side, he's free.
And this is where we see those big strikes coming in as soon as both men get separated. Dietman pushing Lee up against the cage once again. Really trying to work that control once they get him down to the ground with 30 seconds remaining in round number one.
And I have to wonder what Dietman's plan is to get him to the ground. He's expelling a lot of energy. That cage defense just takes it out of the offensive fighter quite a bit. I know he wants to close distance and use his Muay Thai with his knees and elbows. I've seen it firsthand. But I agree with Shino. If I'm him, I'm stepping out and I'm readjusting, getting into my range and throwing those bombs.
Yeah, he's just having so much success on the outside, and Lee seems to be just too hard to take down sometimes. He has great defense, too, when he gets back up.
Dietman throws a spinning back kick, glancing blow to Lee as the crowd comes alive for what was a fast, furious, and very exciting round number one. As we go to the Project Filter replay, brought to you by Project Filter, you decide when and we'll show you how. What are you seeing from the first round from both of these gentlemen here, Cameron?
Yeah, if I'm cornering Sam Dietman, what I'm telling him is, hey, you're throwing really good punches, you're throwing a good right hand, you're throwing with a lot of power, but when you do, you're dropping the opposite hand, and you're susceptible to the exact same counter. If I'm talking to Anthony Lee, I'm saying, hey, let's use that Kempo, let's use our kicking strikes, let's find our distance and not get into the boxing exchange.
It's very obvious that Lee out of the blue corner wants to stand bang. He wants a fast pace. You saw Dietman kind of respond with that a little bit, but then also wants to get into the cage, get him to the ground. Knowing that now, how do you approach the first 5 to 10 seconds of round number two?
I just think that he needs to kind of maybe slow down a little bit, just a little less frantic. Be a little less frantic, and I think it could go a long way for him so that he can just see where he's going, where Dietman's going.
Here we go with round number 2. Both men rushing in, backing off just a little bit. Exchanging leg kicks is both men. Another right there from Lee. Front kick attempt there by Dietman. Both men exchanging some rights and lefts. Dietman keeping up those punches, kind of wearing Lee down pretty quick, and once again pressing him against the cage, slowing the pace down. Kind of seems to where Dietman wants to live in this fight right now.
See, I feel like Dietman is close to finishing the fight. He just has to keep picking at him.
Absolutely, I'd put him in the corner and just box. Just keep your range, but keep your hands high, like we talked about in the first fight. Keep those hands high. We don't want them to drop. When we do, we're susceptible to those counters. And Lee's starting to pick up on it. When Sam throws those big hands and he drops one of his hands, he's looking to answer to that open spot.
And again, both men in black trunks tonight. Dietman in the SBGI donned trunks. Lee in the pit trunks, and Lee showing a little bit of damage with a little bit of blood coming out of the nose there, again on the right side.
This is Lee's first fight. He's only 19 years old. He's tough.
Both men showing a lot of toughness, and of course, 19 years old, a lot of nerves coming tonight, Cam.
There is a lot of nerves. They both competed quite a bit, though, outside of MMA. Lee's got a brown belt in Hawaiian Kempo. He's done some kickboxing.
Oh, Dietman gets a good takedown there that he's been looking for. Lee trying to reverse that. However, Dietman gets the back position. He's going for the rear naked choke. Is he going to get it under the chin? Can he cinch it in? Can he get Lee to submit? Lee is fighting it off all he can. He's got it in. Can he clinch it? Good job by Lee getting the chin down to block that.
Yeah, he's got that one hand.
Lee with the reversal.
Good on him. He's tough. He did all the right things, keeping Dietman from locking his hands up. Just that one. And you can always finish an RNC with one hand, but definitely a lot harder to do.
Now, this is an interesting turn in the fight. Of course, Dietman showing a lot of wanting to get this to the ground. He gets it down there. Now, all of a sudden, he is on his back. Kind of not what he expected, maybe.
And Lee's grappled before. He's competed in local tournaments quite a bit. If I'm his coach, I'm saying the guard is open. Let's look to pass. Then we can rain punches.
30 seconds remaining in round number 2 of what's been an exciting fight. Lee with a couple of rights there to Dietman, who is on his back, trying to get out of this position that he finds himself in right now.
If Lee can push those knees down and isolate them, then he can get past them.
Dietman tries to get him away. Lee right back on top.
Now Dietman needs to get that bottom knee through so that he can make that space again.
Lee just barely missing a glancing blow with the right there. Both men back to their feet. Dietman trying to get him back up against the cage. Couple of final punches there to end an exciting round number 2. And I'll be honest with you, y'all, I don't really know what to make of this fight right now. It was a lot of fast and furious in the action. Dietman wanted to get it slowed down. He did. And then, of course, Anthony Lee there, as we saw about the last 30 to 45 seconds of round number 2, seemed to almost kind of turn Dietman's game plan against him a little bit.
The adjustment from Lee has been really impressive. He's getting comfortable with the grappling. He's getting comfortable with the cage defense. When he gets down, he knew he was comfortable. He knew he could go right to his jiu-jitsu. He defended well, got his back to the floor, turned into his opponent, got on top, passed, and continued to excel in the grappling exchange. And
you can see what Cam there is talking about as we're in the middle of the Project Filter replay, brought to you by Project Filter. You decide when, we'll show you how. Very close was Dietman in locking in that rear naked choke on Lee. So close, but Lee right at the end there doing a good job to get the chin tucked to prevent that submission. And, we kind of said it in the last round, last fight. Going into round number 3, buckle in. It proves going to be exciting. I kind of feel, based off the first 2 rounds of this fight, that we're in for a pretty wild and exciting 3rd round.
Can Amis get fight of the night or no?
I was literally, I was thinking that. We'll talk more about that in a little bit as Lee comes out with a couple of rights and lefts. Oh, stiff shot to the face of Dietman.
I think Dietman's kind of surprised.
Definitely surprised. Lee trying to lock in a couple of lefts there as he has Dietman pressed up against the cage. He is not letting go with those lefts, nor his body control of Dietman against the cage.
He's timing his responses to the punches well. He came out, got in exactly the distance he wanted to. He waited for Sam to throw punches, and as he picked out before, when Sam's hands dropped, he answered with a counter punch. Beautiful counter striking by Anthony Lee.
Pace slowing down for just a few seconds.
You know, and I know they haven't hit the ground in this round yet, but I think this
Keyword being yet.
But I think it shows why competing even outside of MMA, especially young in your MMA career, is so important.
Good
What a
takedown by Lee. Gets Dietman pressed up against the cage.
Just competing outside of MMA, even in jiu-jitsu and kickboxing like we saw in our past fight, it just gets you comfortable in a competition.
Lee doing a really good job of working Dietman's body right now. Wherever the arms go, pushes him away, gets two solid rights to Dietman's face. There is the third, almost the fourth, connects with two more. Dietman is in trouble right now. Good job using the legs. Now he's on top of Lee.
Wow.
As we come with 90 seconds left in this third and final round.
This is so good.
This is crazy.
You know, one thing about Lee is he never lets Dietman settle. He is always moving, and that's why Dietman's had a hard time taking him down and keeping him down. He just never stops moving.
Part of the reason he's excelled so well, really both of these guys have so well, is they're using frames so well on the ground to control the distance in the grappling exchanges.
We are coming up on the final 60 seconds of this fight. You hear the crowd coming alive. One chanting for Lee, the other side chanting for Dietman.
It's really fights like this where I'm so grateful I'm commentating and not judging.
Seriously?
I'm so grateful I'm just not inside the cage, period.
Don't be scared.
I'm kind of a wuss. 35 seconds left in what has been one of the, if not the most exciting of the four fights that we have seen tonight. Lee, another takedown to Dietman. And if you could get a close shot on Lee's face, definitely showing a little bit of exhaustion right now, not really kind of sure what to do. Dietman just really pressing him up against that cage. Dietman having to do everything he can to counteract this. If he's got anything left, he's got 10 seconds to figure it out.
Dietman just needs to get his feet on his hips and start kicking out.
Late shot right there as the fight comes to a close. The crowded Idaho Central Arena comes to their feet. What a fight tonight between Sam Dietman and Anthony Lee.
Absolutely phenomenal job by both of these guys. Good adjustments, good debut for Anthony. Excellent return fight for Sam Dietman. Really proud of both of these guys.
Like we said earlier, do Amis get fight of the night? Because that was insane. So far, that's the contention.
Hands down, absolutely was the fight of the night as we go to the Project Filter replay brought to you by Project Filter. You decide when. We'll show you how. Lee and Dietman, hats off to both of these men tonight. And, you know, as we saw at the beginning of the fight, Lee came out with a lot of speed, throwing a lot of punches. It was very evident very early on that Dietman wanted to slow it down, get him up against the cage, get him down to the ground. And as the fight seemed to go on, Lee was very adaptive to that. And as I mentioned at one point, almost kind of flipped the strategy on Dietman's head a little bit.
Yeah, it almost seemed like his game plan coming into it was to rush Dietman. But then I think he realized that Dietman's very skilled on the feet, obviously going for shots. And I think that really made him have to slow down and assess what's happening instead of just coming out rushing. And I think it worked in his favor very well. He was able to reverse a lot of positions and get ahead. Really good.
Again, absolutely incredible fight tonight. Anthony Lee out of Boise, Idaho, representing the Pit Fight Team in his MMA debut. Sam Dietman representing SBG, the crosstown rivals. As the judges are tabulating the score, one is going to come away with the victory. Will it be Dietman going to a perfect 2-0, or will it be Anthony Lee scoring his first victory? And if this is a victory for Lee, which we will find out here shortly, how exciting is it not only to pick up your first win in your first fight, but in a manner like that of such an absolutely incredible fight?
Yeah, you know, I was going to mention that. Earlier we talked about when you are 1-0 and you come in probably a little more confident because you know that you've had the experience over your debut opponent. And I think that Lee showed us that he had none of those concerns in his head at all.
All right, well, cage announcer Mike Thomas has the results. We are going to go back inside the cage to figure out who is victorious tonight.
Give it up for a barn burner. After 3 rounds, we will move to the judges' scorecards. This fight has been scored 29-28, 29-28, and 29-27 for your winner by unanimous decision. Out of the red corner, Sam Diamond!
Sam, you must have heard me say that the last fight was a fight of night contender, and you and your opponent seem to have something to say about my opinion.
And first off, I want to give all glory to my Lord Savior Jesus Christ. One more time, what was the question?
You had a lot of success with the heavy hands at the beginning of round 1. Did you expect him to come out so quickly and close distance?
Yeah, I did. I got a lot of trust in my boxing. I work for blood, sweat, and tears into it, so it was a fun fight. It was a war. Love it.
There were some adjustments between round 2. What were those adjustments and how did they affect the outcome?
Man, he's a warrior. Just went to war.
Well, incredible job. Looking forward to having you and your opponent back. Great job to both these guys. Give it up for Sam.
You heard the mixed reaction from the crowd. It was a unanimous decision for Sam Dietman. Some people agree, some people disagree. Some of those people might be sitting at the table, but that's our job, is to be impartial. Definitely a very exciting fight tonight.